I'm Dick Bratcher, Vice President for Facilities Management and Real Property. We've been asked to come today and speak to you all a bit about the strategic planning and annual planning processes that we've implemented in facilities management and real property. Over the last number of years, we have done planning on a regular basis. And typically what we do is have 2 planning sessions each year. And in those planning sessions, we'll do things like environmental scanning, reviewing the strategic plan of the university, looking at the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats that may be out there that relate to the department and the division. What risk factors are out there? Basically, this is trying to get a good understanding of what's around us so that we can do good planning. We've typically done a periodic review of our mission statement of the organization and of the organizational units. We also, on an annual basis, review our accomplishments to see what we've done and what we've been able to get done over the past 12 months. We also develop objectives for the upcoming year in these planning sessions. And then we develop our resource requests so that they can be put into the normal budget and planning processes of the university. Since the implementation of Weave Online and the real focus on assessment at the university, we've tried to align our division planning with both Weave Online and the Commonwealth processes. The Commonwealth of Virginia typically does planning on a 6-year basis, so that's what we've adopted. We've adjusted our planning processes to have that 6 years as a typical planning horizon for us. We've developed a formal strategic plan within the division. The elements of that plan are mission, vision, core values, the environmental scan, and strategic goals. As I said earlier, this is all done in a 6-year planning horizon, and we review it biennially. One of the things that we've done in facilities management and real property is to develop a planning framework that we can work within. Basically, this slide, which is very busy, at the top part of it, you see the elements of the strategic planning processes, and at the bottom of the slide, we're looking at our operational planning processes. The strategic planning processes are basically the mission statement, why are we here, our core values, what's important to us, vision, what do we want to be, an environmental scan, where are we now, and what's around us? Developing of strategic goals. What are those broad overarching ends that address our strategic issues within the division? Setting strategic objectives. What are the results, the strategic results that we wish to achieve? Again, this is within a 5 to 6 year planning horizon with biennial review. The operational planning, which is done on an annual basis, each of the operational units within the division set operational goals, which are, again, broad overarching ends that each of the units would like to achieve. And then they set their annual outcomes and objectives. What are those results that are going to be achieved within that next 12-month period? What are the measures? How will we know that we have achieved what we said we were going to do? The targets, what are the specifics of those achievements? And then finally, the findings, how successful have we been in getting there? Looking at what we've accomplished and how well we've done it. I want to go a little bit deeper into this. The mission statement is a concise statement that clearly defines the purpose for the existence of our organization. As a division, it addresses questions like, who are we? Why are we here? What are the fundamental reasons for the existence of the division? What should we be doing? The mission statement should reflect our position within the university and focus on meeting the needs of our various constituencies. What's on the screen is the mission statement that we have developed for facilities management and real property. And it tries to describe why we're here. Core values. To me, this is a very important part of planning. It gives context within which the planning can take meaning. our senior leadership team has developed these set of core values upon which we will base our daily decisions and business activities are carried out within the framework of our beliefs and values. As a team, it's important to understand the common values that will guide our actions. We don't all have to have exactly the same set of personal values, but as a team, having the common values will help us move forward in a much more effective manner. As a division, what are our common beliefs? What is the basis for our actions? And how will we treat each other? In developing core values, not only do you want to try to develop and identify what those single word statements are, like integrity, honesty, respect, courage, commitment, loyalty, professionalism, sense of service, but you all want, as you're working through this, put some meaning to it, put some definition to it so that there's a true understanding of what these core values mean. The next element for planning that we've worked on is the vision statement. And again, I'm giving you what we've done in our division just simply as an example. Everyone's vision, everyone's values, they will all be different and they will be relative specifically to your organization. Development of vision is a description of the future. It's, as a division, what do we want to be? What will we look like? How will we act? What will we create? Our statement of vision should be both attainable and reflecting our aspirations. We want to stretch ourselves a bit in our vision. Division of Facilities Management and Real Property wants to be a learning organization. We want to be providing high quality services and providing effective solutions as well as efficient use of resources. And we talk in our vision also about what our team will be like. We want to be proactive as a team. We want to be planning for the future, not just reacting to the right now. We want to solve problems through understanding and meaningful dialogue and to adapt to an ever-changing environment. Will we achieve this vision? We hope so. The next element is strategic goals. And strategic goals are necessary because planning needs to give direction. Our planning horizon is 6 years, so as we've developed these goals, we've put them together in the context of that 6-year time frame. And we try to describe 4 to 6, it doesn't make any difference how many, broad statements of those things that we'd like to achieve. Strategic goals guide action, they don't describe it. They're overarching, they're fairly general. Specifics and the direction really comes in at the next level, which is at the strategic objective level. What's on the screen here, again, is an example based upon what our current strategic plan is. One of the goals is to maintain a consistently high level of operational readiness within an environment characterized by change. The strategic objectives put the measurable results within the goal statement, within that broad overarching thing that we were trying to achieve. These strategic objectives then provide a context for the annual operational planning done by each of the units. As I mentioned earlier, one of the typical practices we have is something called an environmental scan. And a very important part of this is looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's looking at the division itself. What are our strengths? What do we view as those strong points within us? What are our weaknesses? We have to look in the mirror hard and understand what we're not really particularly good at. Are there opportunities out there that we can leverage? And are there things in the environment that pose a threat to our ability to get the job done? We feel like that within facilities management real property that our strengths are leadership. We have knowledge, very knowledgeable and dedicated people, very strong internal relationships, and we try to be forward-thinking and planning, and we feel like our core values also is another strength. To jump to threats. A threat to us is increased costs, which is going to diminish our ability to get the job done. Loss of key personnel within the division is always a major threat. Lack of resources, the state budget, and changing climate. These are just, again, examples of the kinds of things that you can identify within your division to help you better plan. This slide tries to look at the actual annual planning process. To the left of the slide, on the left slide, you see the big cloud, which is our strategic plan development. As we do that, we're also thinking about what's it going to take to get there from a resource standpoint. So we're doing a bit of resource forecasting as we're doing our planning. And on a regular basis, we're refining our strategic objectives. If you look to the right, you're actually looking at what that annual process is for us. As I mentioned earlier, we use our division strategic objectives to inform the annual planning, operational planning. Each unit develops their operational plan during a year. Then resources are allocated for them to be able to implement that plan. If resources aren't available at the level that are required to meet some of those objectives or outcomes that are planned for, then those plans are refined. And then we get into the implementation of it. Over the year, doing what we have said we're going to do, working our plans, and fulfilling our objectives. And finally, we assess the operational plans. We're looking at what did we actually accomplish during the year, and what have we been able to achieve. As we fulfill our objectives on the operational basis, we're also seeing how that then impacts our strategic objectives, so that it is very cyclical, and we're learning from what we're able to do on how to better plan and what to do in the future. Now, how does it fit together? Earlier, we looked at the division of strategic planning. A strategic goal that we set was to maintain a consistently high level of operational readiness within an environment characterized by change. A strategic objective that we set at the divisional level was then to identify and implement best business and management practices that are found within public higher education, and we want to do that by the end of fiscal year 17. That's a very measurable way within the overarching statement, that guiding statement of the strategic goal. Then as we go down into the operational level, in landscaping and grounds management, they have set an operational goal to improve the policies, procedures, practices, and methods of management and maintenance of the university grounds and landscaped areas, putting together something that is called a zone management system. Zone management system is, in fact, a best business and management practice that you will find not only at institutions of public higher education, but also in industry as it relates to to the maintenance of campuses and landscape and grounds areas. The measure, how are we going to know that we've achieved that outcome? We put together a measure of operational status. The measure is not exactly what we're going to accomplish, but it's how we're going to know that we got there. Operational status is progress towards the support of normal operations by a piece of equipment, a system, a process, procedure, or policy. In this case, we will know that we have gotten there, or be able to know we've gotten there, that if the zone management system and the improvements developed are in fact in place and up and part of normal operations. The fiscal year 13 target that we have set is 100% implementation of standards of care and maintenance of the grounds by priority areas within the zones. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of how we do planning, what the processes are that we use, and then how it all fits together. I want to thank you for the time and the invitation to share what we're doing in facilities management and real property with you.
Hi, my name's Louise Waller, and I've had the pleasure of working for Longwood University and with Dick for about 8 years now. The other day, Dick asked me to come and speak with you about what our planning sessions look like, which I was more than happy to do because I do adamantly believe that the feel and environment of your planning session has a tremendous impact on the output of these sessions. So let's begin. So what do our planning sessions look like? First of all, location is not only important when you're talking about real estate. The location that you pick for your planning session is very, very important. We suggest a very relaxed environment away from campus. This is so that you can clear your mind and focus on what you're there to do, which is plan for the future of your organization. We also suggest food. Food is a nice complement to any planning session event. Typically, we have our planning sessions in Dick's living room. We found that this is very productive and works really well for our team. The next thing we do after we've gotten there, obviously, is begin by reviewing. We review our strategic and operating plans. This is important because, like for myself, I do not sleep with our strategic operating plan underneath my pillow at night. So it's good to refresh and remember what really is in our plan. The review portion is also good because these planning sessions may be intimidating for some staff members, and it's good to introduce material that they've seen before and help them feel comfortable with what we're covering. Reviewing accomplishments is also incredibly important. I know in higher education, especially in our world, we get so busy and so caught up with moving forward and everything that we have to do that we forget to stop and step back and appreciate everything that we have done and how much we have accomplished. So I feel it's also very important in these planning sessions to review our accomplishments. After the review period, we break into small groups. And these small groups are very important for small dialogue and close-knit groups, and it allows everybody to have a voice in this process. We talk about what we look like as a division, how we act, what we do, and what we want to look like. Really helps shape our purpose, mission, vision, and objectives. After we've had time to share conversations and thoughts in small groups, then we return to our larger group for an in-depth discussion about what we talked about in our smaller groups. This is important because this is where we really do bring all of the conversations together and really develop our plans and initiatives. Now, by this point in the day, we're pretty brain dead. It's kind of like mush up here. So it's really important to step back, go home, rest, and spend some time individually thinking about what we've talked about and what we've said we're going to accomplish. We then make sure to follow up at our next weekly directors meeting and lay out the plan. Talk again about what we have said we're going to do and where we're going to be. This gives us time to reflect and make sure that this is what we really want to be reaching for. After your planning sessions, you should have, hopefully, some very good tangible results, mission, vision, strategic goals. You should also hopefully have a series of intangible results that I think are just as important as the tangible ones. Personally, within our division, I've seen our planning sessions transform our organization. It's very important and very beneficial to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your coworkers and their divisions, as well as where your worlds overlap and how you can help each other. Several years ago in one of our planning sessions, we set the goal of making our team look good. Now, we've come to fully embrace this goal, and we don't have silos. We work very well together, and it's been very, very beneficial for us. And I see this as a direct result of our wonderful planning sessions that we have. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope that this has been beneficial for you, and I encourage you to go out and have fun with your next planning session. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Dave Love. I'm Director of Landscape and Grounds for Longwood University, and I've been here a little over a year, and Dick has asked me to come in and talk to you about how we do our implementation process for the department and planning. So the first thing is involvement is a key thing here, and we involve all our managers and our supervisors and first line staff in the process before the planning sessions even really get started, because we want to talk about what our plan is for the coming year so we have a good idea of what we're doing. The other thing is we use an acronym which is look at SMART goals to cover the mission and strategic plans. SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, rewarding and challenging, but also timed, so we can cover what we're doing. The other part of this process that we go into is spreading the word and creating actions. The group discussions we have are very helpful and very beneficial so that everyone gets to be a buy-in into the project or the planning. Management is it's really a brainstorming, internal, external factors, prioritizing the tasks, requirements to meet those goals. And we look at it from a standpoint of whether we're budget or equipment requirements. What are those things that are really going to take to make those goals happen? Then we break it down and we assign responsibilities. We divide it up into smaller elements so that everybody isn't overwhelmed. And this goes on throughout the whole organization. So when I'm talking about dividing responsibilities, it's not just to the managers or the first line supervisors. This goes down to the guys who are actually out in the field doing the work, whether it's the horticulturist taking care of the flower beds or whether it's the person emptying the trash cans every day on the campus. So those are all things we do. Then we also follow up with management. We do a weekly management meeting that all the management staff gets together with. And we also do a bi-weekly meeting for the supervisors. And we talk about these things. And the follow-up on that is we do a monthly department meeting. Once a month, we get everybody together and we talk about goals, missions, and all those kinds of things, and then how we're doing and what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And we follow up on those things. We encourage ideas and feedback on a daily basis from the entire department. So when I'm out around traveling around a campus and talking to people, I'm also asking for feedback, ideas. A lot of times the ideas that we have that really will save us some money or time or labor are created out in the field by the people doing the job. The other part is we adjust our actions and our decisions. We focus on the strategic issues, but we also look at things that we can change to make, the planning process is great, but you have to look and be able to be flexible. So if you find out that something that you thought was a great idea isn't working, then you have to adjust that. So those are the things we all do. And continually, and that's the other part of that, is assessing the progress with all. We look at it from a daily basis, we look at it from a weekly basis, and we look at it long term. How can we change things, what we're doing? The zone management project is moving along and it's made a lot of changes in how we do our business. And I think the results are shown on the campus. The other part of that is you got to provide feedback. Just this last week, we've talked to the entire department about what we did last year, the results, and the good and the bad. And those are things that you have to provide back to everybody. Let everybody know what's going on in your department and what's happening. And we also talk about outside influences and things that are going on within the university. So everyone is available and knows what possibilities are and what's going on out there. So again, I would like to thank you for this time to give me this opportunity to talk to you about this. And anytime, just let me know. I can give you any ideas. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jerry Jerome, Longwood's facilities planner. You've heard so far this morning from some of the facilities management strategic planning team about our processes, our methods, and our results. Now I'd like to step back a little bit and view a single organization's process and its results from a wider perspective, that of the university as a whole. Hopefully you'll agree by now that a planning process is the foundation of your organization's planning effort. So logically, if your team develops and follows a sound process that they believe in, the product should be specific results, a vision, a set of goals, new procedures, and perhaps a list of resources and requirements. These results are an expression of your organization's most basic and significant strategic concepts, both current and future. They're what I would call your fundamentals. They're developed during a specific process and validated by your team's knowledge. These fundamentals will be consistent with your mission and values, coordinated with your vision, and should provide you with a controlled approach to making or adapting to future changes. The results of an organization's planning process are, from the organization's point of view, internally driven and internally utilized. However, well-developed results are also essential to university-wide planning efforts. Some examples that you're probably familiar with are the university's strategic plan, budget plans, the 6-year capital plan, and the campus master plan. Most of these plans are in some stage of development at any given time, and all of them are built from inputs from many university organizations. Therefore, the results of your organization's planning effort can have a specific and meaningful impact on Longwood's future. For example, a new academic program might require additional professors, offices, classrooms, laboratories, and special equipment. An increase in Longwood's enrollment will require additional residence halls, food service facilities, and activity space. These requirements should be a prominent part of your organization's strategic planning results and should be available and ready when called for. And of course, on the flip side, you could possibly miss some significant opportunities if you haven't developed and carried out a planning process or if your results are not available.